In the cradle of civilization, two ancient powers rose from the dust of time. Egypt and Mesopotamia, two names that echo through history, two civilizations that built the foundations of the modern world. But who came first? Who truly invented civilization as we know it? To answer that, we must travel over 5,000 years into the past. In the valley of the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, the Sumerians emerged. Around 3500 BCE, they built the first known cities on Earth, Uruk, Eridu, and Lagash. These weren't simple farming villages. They had streets, temples, granaries, and even administrative buildings. Most importantly, they had writing. Cuneiform, an abstract script made of wedge-shaped symbols pressed into clay, was developed in Mesopotamia not for storytelling, but for bureaucracy, to keep track of crops, livestock, labor, and trade. This early writing system wasn't art, it was power. It was order. It was civilization. At nearly the same time, down along the banks of the Nile River, the ancient Egyptians began building their own legacy. The Nile provided a predictable rhythm to life. Its annual floods nourished the soil and made farming reliable. This stability allowed the Egyptians to develop cities, organize labor, and build their mighty monuments. While the Sumerians gave the world cuneiform, the Egyptians responded with hieroglyphics, pictures representing sounds, ideas, and meanings. Their language decorated temples, tombs, and statues, blending art and communication in a way Mesopotamia rarely did. The real difference between these two was unity. Mesopotamia was a land of divided city-states, each with its own king and gods. They warred constantly over land and water. In contrast, Egypt formed a single kingdom under a divine ruler, the Pharaoh. He was not just king, but God incarnate. Egypt's centralized rule brought peace and consistency for centuries. But Mesopotamia innovated in other ways. They created the first known legal code under King Ur-Nammu. Later, Hammurabi's code would inscribe justice in stone literally. The Mesopotamians also pioneered irrigation, mathematics, and astronomy. Their ziggurats temple towers rose like mountains above the flat landscape, offering a staircase to the gods. Egypt, on the other hand, focused their engineering brilliance on eternity. The pyramids of Giza remain one of the greatest architectural achievements in human history. Pharaohs like Djoser, Sneferu, and Khufu dedicated decades to these tombs, ensuring their divine legacy would last forever. Religion, too, shaped these civilizations. In Mesopotamia, the gods were unpredictable and harsh, reflecting the chaos of their floods and wars. In Egypt, the gods were orderly, cyclical, and comforting, mirroring the dependable Nile. The afterlife was central to Egyptian belief. Mesopotamians focused more on life's duties than what lay beyond. Trade routes stretched from both regions. Egypt traded gold, linen, and papyrus with Nubia and the Levant. Mesopotamia, lacking natural resources, traded grain and textiles for metals, timber, and precious stones from as far as the Indus Valley. In many ways, these two civilizations were mirrors, each reflecting the same fundamental drive of humanity: to organize, to build, to believe, and to remember. So who built the first civilization? If we measure by date, Mesopotamia may take the crown. They built the first cities and developed writing slightly earlier. But if we measure by influence, unity, and cultural depth, Egypt holds a claim no less compelling. The truth is, both civilizations rose independently and yet simultaneously. They show that humanity, when given land, water, and time, will always reach for something greater than survival. They will reach for legacy. Egypt and Mesopotamia weren't just the first civilizations. They were the first answers to the timeless question, what does it mean to be human?